Students, in this video I want to give you a real quick idea of what a macro is. When you're working in an office and you have to complete certain tasks over and over, the same type of thing, or add formatting that's the same on different jobs, you might want to automate it. So you can record what is called a macro, and a macro records all your steps that you take and puts it all into kind of one little package, and then you can run that macro and it will do the job that it wants. So um, before I get started, let me copy this here real quick over to a new sheet so we can we'll have this data um, in so I can show you when I run the macro. I can come over here and run it on this data. Okay, so we're here, and so we're going to add some formatting, and we're going to use flash fill and do some different things. So first of all, I don't have anything on here that says macro. Down here I do have a macro, so there's no macros recording beginning to, and I can click here and click new macros. If I didn't have this little button down here, which is a new feature, I could go to File, and we would go to More, Options, and run on our ribbon, customize our ribbon, and we would add our developer right here. There's a thing, and so now I have a new button up on my menu here called developer. So I think what I'll do is I'll try this here down on the button, and it says macro name. So I'm just going to call it format to make it easy, and I am going to use a shortcut key, and I'll use the letter J. Control J does justify, and let's see, I'll just do Control J. Actually, it's going to be Control Shift and J to run this macro, so it's even easier than I think. I could write a description in here if I want. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Okay, and what my formatting is going to be, first I'm going to select this and auto fit this cell, so I can go over here, auto fit column width. Okay, that's the first thing I want to do. Then I want to select my heading here, and I want to add some fill to it. So I'll add a blue fill. That's too dark, so I'll come up here and do a light blue. Or I could do, how about this? Let's do a really dark blue, and then we'll put a white font on it. And we want to make it bold. So all of them are bold now. And I want to make this a little bit bigger. And I also want to align this in the center of this, so it's aligned vertically at the bottom right now. So I'll do center, and I'll say OK. Now we've got this, and oh, one last thing I want to do is I want to center each of these right like that. Okay, so I think now what I want to do is I want to flash fill here. So remember how to flash fill? We type Josephine Carter, and now I need to make it a little bit bigger. And actually I want to make, okay, I'll just leave it like that. And so I click now in this, and I come over here to, I've got a little menu in the way, into flash fill, which is this right here, down arrow, flash fill, and it just took our last name, first name, and made it into our full name. Let's do kind of the same thing with our Richmond, Virginia. And I will do flash fill, and let's say that I want to make these rows just a little bit bigger, and I also want to add in borders. Okay, that's enough things. I've been recording all this time, so now I want to turn off my macro recorder, And if I look at developer, stop recording right up here. My mouse keeps doing wild things. Okay, and that should do it. Now let's go over onto this um, sheet here, and I'll click right here, and I'm going to do Control Shift and J, and boom, the job is done. And that's the beauty of a macro. So sometimes they hire people, a company will hire a person to write these macros. When they get to be a little bit complex, you have to use a programming language called VBA, Visual Basic, and you write the macro. But just so that you know, this is all I need you to know, is that a macro is a recorded keystrokes, and it automates your tasks. So um, if you want to play with it and try it out, you certainly can. Okay, there might be some problems that happen on this here. Let's say what I'm not sure would happen is, what if I had a few more names in here? The macro might not work because it wasn't selecting exactly all the table. It selected all the table that I wanted, and the two tables were exactly alike. But if I had more rows in this one, there would be a programming language that you could put in there for it to select exactly what you want. You can put pauses in a macro, and so it'll stop and let you select what you want. Okay, so that's what a macro is. Just wanted to let you know.